All right, so welcome to part 5 of this Lebensohl series. We've been working in the first 4 with the essential Lebensohl bid, the 2 no trump to 3 clubs relay, which we use to create different paths to the same point. And because we have alternative ways to get there, we can assign each way a meaning. Now, there are some hands you may have noticed that we lack some invitational bids. For instance, when we're trying to find 4-4 fits and we're using Stamen, we have to have game forcing points. Now, there is a more advanced treatment for Lebensohl, and after you're feeling comfortable with this, we can talk about it. But we can also use the double, the classic negative double, as an invitational bid that implies shortness in the overcaller suit and support in the other suits. And in particular, it promises majors. So it's a negative double, it's an invitational bid. Now, if we start from the premise that I've suggested, which is that we look at our hand first and see where we would go, we have an 8-point hand. We would use Stamen on this hand and see if there was a 4-4 fit. And then if there was, we could invite. But when they bid, we lose our ability to use Stamen anymore. We can't use Q-bid Stamen because we don't have game forcing points. Nonetheless, we would love to see if we have a 4-4 fit in hearts. And for that purpose, we use the negative double. Notice it's just like the negative double you've been using all the time, a third seat negative double after an overcall. Except in this situation, we're going to show shortness in the spades, and we're implying that we have 4 hearts. Okay? So this gets us to partner who has 7, 8, 12, 17 points. Your double implies 4 hearts and invitational values, not game forcing values. He can simply bid 4 hearts. This is just the negative double you've always used, except we're going to throw it into our 1 no trump interference bidding. And because you're familiar with the negative double, I don't think you're going to have a hard time learning how to apply it. We got 1 no trump. We have a 2 spade bid. Had they not bid, right, if this had been a pass, right, we might have looked, we have 8 points. We would have used Stamen, invited. But now, that's really off the table. We can't Q-bid Stamen, right? We can't use whatever lesson that was. I think it was 3. We can't bid 3 spades to deny a stopper and ask for our heart fit. And we can't do that because we don't have game forcing values. So we want to find a 4-4 fit in hearts, but we got to do it by showing an invitational values. And here we have 2 spades, shortness in the suit bid, and we have 4-4-3 in the remaining suits. But in particular, we have 4 hearts, and this bid strongly implies 4 hearts. So, partner, I don't know, maybe he'd leave it in. He's got 4 of them, but he doesn't know how many spades you have, and he knows you're short. He knows that there is not a heart fit, though, right? He knows that you have invitational values. He has 7, 5, 12, 13, and 3 is 16. And with the spade stopper, who knows? Maybe he decides that's enough for game. Like our aggressive bidders. Let's see what the Gibby says. Gibby says it's making without a problem. Right? So here we have a negative double used to show 4 hearts, used to show invitational values. If we had game forcing values, we would use Q-bid Stamen, we would directly bid the three spades, denying a spade stopper, right? That's what we do with Q-bid statement. But we don't have game forcing values, so we just go ahead and use the negative double. All right, here's one that we find happens all the time. We would bid two clubs. If he bid two hearts, we'd be happy. If he bid two spades, we'd be happy. And we would use an invitational bid to show that we only have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. They bid two diamonds. So this is like sort of a classic one, right? Classic negative double. We have 4, 4, 4, 1 in their suit. So we can, and we have 4, 4 in the majors. So we can use our negative double here. We have 9 points. Although frankly, we're going to go to game if we get a positive response because of our singleton diamond. And opener knows that you have 4, 4 in the majors. He knows you have only invitational values. He has 17 points. So he just bids 4 hearts. All right. Again, this is pretty simple stuff. There's no reason to be afraid of these little gadgets, so long as you use them properly. Right? They won't get you in trouble. One no trump. 7, 8 points in our hand. We probably would use Stayman to see if there's a heart fit, and then if there is a heart fit, we might go on to game because of our singleton spade. But we don't really need to think about that anymore because in jumps our favorite right-hand opponent with a spade bid. And now we have the ability to use a negative double. All right? So this is saying to partner, shortness in spades, support for the remaining suits, and because my right-hand opponent bid spades, I'm promising you 4 spades. This strongly implies it implies 4 hearts. Strongly implies 4 hearts. You better count on your partner to rely upon it. He's got 16 points. Kind of balanced. Has the king, queen spades. Let's say that he decides that he's a cautious man, and that he just says, I'm going to show you that he bids this. He bids 3 hearts, right? Which is kind of saying I'm 15, 16 points. I'm not positive that I want to go to game. I don't have it for sure, right? So he bids 3 hearts instead. So you know he's on the light side, but do you care at this point? You found your fit, and you've got a singleton in their suit. So I would assume most of us would go to 4 hearts. And according to Andrew Gibb, it makes. So this is the negative double. We're giving up the double as penalty, right? Which has some value, and some people will play the double as penalty in Lebensohl. But for now, what the double does is it makes up for the lack of invitational bids in traditional Lebensohl. By using it as a negative double, showing invitational values, we can find some contracts, some fits that the opponents nearly took away from us. But because we were on the ball, we were able to use our negative double to find a place to play the contract. That's part 5. I think this was the short movie because we all know how to play negative doubles already. And it's essentially the same problem, just remember they're invitational. Essentially, they come up a lot when you have a major and you don't have the points to make a game-forcing bid. That's that. And the next part is going to take our 2 no trump 3 club relay. We're going to go back to that, but we're going to take it into an entirely different context. Okay, and we'll no longer be dealing with it in terms of a 1 no trump opener. and it's pretty exciting, and I think you will love it. If you have the 2 no trump 3 club relay down, you're going to adapt this thing in a second to the new context that I'll show you next time around. All right, so thank you very much.